I'm finally done, everyone. I finished my second novel, Board Games 2, the sequel to my first novel, Board Games, published in 2018. And we have a special perk for all the loyal subscribers to SoCHiology and Mogul Motivation. Go to TrueStoriesMedia.com and check out Board Games 2 and or Board Games if you haven't read the first installment, and type in BG2 TRUE as the promo code. That's the letters BG, the numerical number 2, TRUE, and you will receive 10% off your order. Board Games 2 will be available worldwide October 4th, so don't forget to get your pre-order in ASAP because it ends September 3rd. BG2 TRUE, the promo code for Board Games 2. You are now tuned into the SoCHiology podcast. SoCHiology is a lifestyle brand that analyzes Chicago culture and connected topics abroad, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's a simple question. When Micheal Jordan isn't walking through that door and stepping on that floor, who do you turn to? This episode of SoCHiology, we're going to look at two of the greatest seasons in a Bulls jersey for players not named Micheal Jordan. 1994 Scottie Pippen and 2011 DRose.
So here we go. All right, we got G Harris in the building. We got Third Samuel in the building.
Okay, what up?
Corey DeJohn. So, all right, I'm just gonna ask y'all a question, and just give me y'all straight answer. We're gonna expound. You know what I'm saying? To Sports Town. 94 Pippen or 2011 Rose? Who you taking? When Micheal Jordan ain't coming through that door, who you taking?
Who gonna answer that first?
I want to go first. I go first. Hey, yeah, you can go first.
Go ahead, bro.
We know Derrick Rose's career ain't paying out, but Scottie Pippen ain't got no MVP.
Yep.
And he damn sure ain't changed the rules in the league so that people can get paid much quicker off of them rookie deals either.
Yeah.
That year Derrick Rose had was one for the history books. And if we just looking at a point in time, I got to go with DRose. But if you talk about career, of course, we know where we're going.
Yeah, Pip, for sure.
Okay, but those two seasons compared, you taking DRose. Okay, who next?
So, DRose for me. I mean, he basically changed the game. So, he came in that year with Russ, but then when it got to that MVP year, he kind of called it out from the beginning. Why not? Why I can't be MVP? Why I can't be MVP? Then he went out there and got MVP. Basically took a whole. I ain't gonna say scrubs, but nobody.
You can say scrubs.
Yeah, but I mean, what Carlos Boozer got hurt. I think at the beginning of the year because I think he cut his hand or something like that. So it was just basically Joakim Noah, Rose, and Luol Deng, Ronnie Brewer. You know what I'm saying? Come on, and they went 62 and 20. Come on,
CJ
man.
Watson, Mr. Watson,
62 and 20. So I'm gonna roll Rose.
Ben Gordon wasn't out there, right?
Nah, Ben Gordon went out there.
Nah, Ben was gone.
What about you, Third Samuel?
All the reasons that, they said Derrick Rose, I'd agree with, but somebody kind of has to throw a wrench in all of this. I'm going to go with Pip, and I'm going to tell you why. This is my personal thing. I feel like you have to carry the legacy of Jordan, okay? And when you think about it, Scottie had to carry a team basically that was brand new. This team that played with Derrick Rose, they had been assembled for a couple of years already. And if you want to get my honest opinion on that MVP, I think that was an MVP LeBron probably should have won. I'm not a LeBron fan. You know that. But I also watched the game, and I know how this shit go. Sometimes sometimes it's like when you see somebody getting all these accolades, you couldn't give LeBron an MVP in his first year with the Heat. It just wouldn't have been right. And Derrick Rose I remember that season like it was yesterday. Derrick Rose basically made it cool to watch basketball in the city. He had the city turned up. But when you look at the 94 Pippen, that was the first year that Scottie Pippen actually got a chance to really evolve and really show the value of the point forward. So before you have a Derrick Rose who's the explosive point guard, who's probably a once in a generation, Scottie Pippen pretty much transcended an entire position that you see today. Look at what we got in the NBA now. You got LeBron James, the point forward. You got Ben Simmons, the point forward. You know, you have all of these guys. But then in addition to that, that was also the time, in my opinion, Scottie Pippen really started to become more into himself as far as his own brand. You know, he ended up getting locked in with Nike. You know what I'm saying? Got locked in with Nike. All-Star game. They give him a pair of the Nike Air Forces that came out at the time. He was exclusive with those. Had his own signature shoe going into the playoffs. And if you don't remember what the shoe looked like, just look at him dunking on Patrick Ewing and just check out the shoes. They haven't even brought those back out except for maybe one time. But in addition to that, hey, it don't matter. 1994 was a way different time.
So let's go to 94 right quick. Let's talk about the atmosphere that was going on in 94, that 93-94 season, right? All right, so Mike, he up out of here. You know, he decided to go play baseball. You know, batting average was trash in the beginning, right? So Mike is over there, you know, playing catch, right? Playing piggy. Now, you got Pippen, right? You got B.J. Armstrong. You got Bill Cartwright, Pete Myers, Horace Grant. I think, was Paxson still there?
Paxson was still, no, Steve Kerr came in and took over for Paxson.
So Steve Kerr was there. And I feel like they had Stacey
King. Scott Williams.
Okay. All right.
I pull that.
So that's who you got in 94. You know what I'm saying? You just
don't forget JoJo English.
Okay, him too. JoJo English.
Please forget him.
JoJo English. So you got all these guys with Pippen. You know, you fresh off a 3P. Everybody's gunning for you. So like had it to third Samuel's point earlier. Like the pressure, the stakes was a little higher for Pippen than it was for Rose because, bro, you just won 3 rings. What you gonna do now? Mike ain't nowhere to be found. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but you know what I say to that though, Twiz? All those names you just dropped, the pressure was on all of them collectively because they were all there for those first 3 championships for the most part. So Pip wasn't alone. The one feather I do put in Pip hat that a lot of people forget is he led that team in every major statistical category that year.
Yeah.
And that was unheard of.
He averaged 21.4 points per game. He averaged basically 3 steals per game, 5 assists, 8 rebounds. His free throw percentage was 71%, and his field goal percentage was almost 50. He shot 48% from the field that year.
And you know what? We also forgot to mention. Hold on, we also forgot to mention Tony Kukoc was in his first year with the Bulls.
Ah, Kukoc was there. Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
I wouldn't even say that.
Man.
I wouldn't even say. Oh, you go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro. I was only going to bring up the one part that we all know and where Pippen lost a lot of the cool points for me is
the Knicks series.
The nickname of Snotty Scotty, and he really showed why Charles Oakley gave him that name in live game moments, and that shit, you lose a lot of points for me.
Yeah.
What was you gonna say, Greg?
No, I was just gonna say I don't even think if I'm comparing pressure wise that Bulls team had a lot of pressure, only because you had Jordan on the team before, right? So you pulled Jordan off the team. Nobody in their right mind really expected that Bulls team to do anything. You expected them to take some steps backwards. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't even say it was a lot of pressure. So whatever they did was like, that's okay. Fair. Yeah, whatever they did was like, okay, cool. They did their thing.
Because you know they record that year was 55-27.
Yeah,
that's not bad at fucking all. You know what I'm saying?
Nah. He had and if we looking at comparing Rose and Pippen year, like I don't know if y'all really look at the PER. So, you know, Pippen was 23.2 and Rose was 23.5. So, you know, they was right there by each other as far as that. And, you know, that look at everything, you know, turnovers, point.
Michael Jordan's shadow.
Well, let's look at what Pip and Derrick Rose had going in. We talked about rosters. You had a fresh Carlos Boozer coming off of free agency. You still had a young Joakim Noah, who was defensive player of the year around that time, and at least made an All-Star team. So you got 2 All-Stars with Deng and Joakim Noah. You got a max player with Boozer. Who's the second best player on Pippen's team? Horace Grant. And at this time, Horace Grant's disgruntled. You know what I'm saying? So you got to reel in that personality. So they both had 2 All-Stars because B.J. Armstrong made an All-Star team that year too.
Mm-hmm.
But when you really look at the talent pool that was on that team, that 2011 team would beat the shit out of that 94 team. You know what I'm saying? Because they're way more athletic. But then also let's consider the competition too. Scotty you're not going against only 5 teams back then like you do now, where you have these 5 juggernaut teams because you got 4 superstars. Every night you're going up against a superstar. You going up, look, you can't even go to Sacramento because at that time you got to go against Mitch Richmond. You go to the Clippers, you still got to go deal with Ron Harper before he came over to the Bulls. You got to deal with there's 28 teams, 27 teams. There's a hooper on every single team you got to go against every night. And I guarantee
it's one major thing that you left out. And a lot of people never want to give enough credit to these individuals. And that's the men that wear those suits at the front of that bench.
Yep, I was about to bring it up.
Mastermind like Phil Jackson running the show. He can coach a team to wins. So that was the greatest difference to me. And that's why I say that 2011 team couldn't beat the 94 team, because that guru of go, that guy's going to actually sit down and figure some things out that's going to neutralize everything that 2011 team is going to do.
Yeah, think so, huh? So if the 94 team, if the 94 team played the 2011 team in a 7-game series, what's your outcome?
2011, they win the 7.
94-6.
I'm gonna go break the tie, and I'm gonna go with 11-6.
11-6.
11-6. Look at the team that beat the 94. Look at the Knicks that beat the 94 Bulls. Look at how they were built. And look at the team that the 2011 team lost to against the Heat. You know what I'm saying? The level of athleticism is way different. The Knicks, they're going to beat you up. That's how the NBA was back in the 90s and 80s. They're going to beat you up and they're going to wear you down, as opposed to the 2011 team. They're going to finesse you. They're going to score. They're going to play defense. But it just seems like with the way that Bulls team was constructed, they weren't as defensive minded because they, outside of Pippen and maybe Horace Grant, who's your big man? You going to trust Bill Cartwright, the guard, the guard, Carlos Boozer outside the paint?
Look at it. Look at everything you just said. And I'm going to tell you what the major difference is. That 2011 team was little boys compared to the 94 team playing against grown men. And we all can see the difference between, let's say, a rookie player that's a stud. I mean, off the chart stud, LeBron James or any rookie of the year, and then they get on that floor and play against a veteran. The tables turn very quickly. We see it with Chris Paul nowadays. Chris Paul is not the fastest player. He don't have any athletic advantage whatsoever. But every time he gets on that floor, he dominates. He moves at his exact speed he wants to. Nobody can speed him up or slow him down. And that's exactly what that 94 team would do to those young boys on the 2011 team. They were grown men.
But your starting point guard on that team is B.J. Armstrong against Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose is blowing past anybody in that time or in the present if he's healthy. Then you got Scotty guard. Y'all keep, you keep saying Phil Jackson, and I'm with you on that one, but he got outcoached by, Pat Riley.
I mean, Pat Riley ain't nothing to sneeze at, though.
And exactly.
Pat Riley, he's still.
I would say this. Can you name any time that a Phil Jackson team has lost due to one player on an opposite team? Like one player just dominated and knocked off a Phil Jackson team. It never goes down like that.
But that's
because he already got like the greatest players of all time on the same
exactly.
Team.
I mean,
Scottie Pippen, isn't that?
Scottie Pippen is the 50 greatest player, one of the 50 greatest.
I can see Scottie Pippen guarding Derrick Rose instead of B.J. Armstrong. Because if
they're gonna have to, that's what they had to do with LeBron. That's what they had to do with LeBron in that
exactly.
series. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I was gonna say.
So
Look
it
what it
wouldn't
took
be
to beat Rose. You
Right.
had 3 like Hall of Famers,
Right,
basically to beat Rose.
Right. And you know, if you look at that Miami team from 2011 and you look at that Knicks team from 94, they was basically similar. So the Knicks was 57-25 that year. Miami was 58-24. You know, so it's like both Bulls teams had to go through a gauntlet of the East in a sense. Well, no, I take that back. They both ran into juggernauts in a sense because, like Sam said earlier, you know, New York wasn't nothing to sneeze at. Like, if you ask me, I really feel like New York should have won one of those years in Mike's absence. Pat tweaked, you know what I'm saying? I really feel like Pat should have got his ring. You said what?
I was gonna say the year the Knicks had a chance to win the championship, nobody was beating Hakeem. And you definitely want coming out the East the second year because you got to go through Shaq and Penny. You got to go through the Davis boys and Reggie Miller and no, it wasn't happening for them. They missed that window closed very quickly.
That's what I'm saying. But the window was there though.
Different problem.
You said what?
I said Hakeem was a different problem.
He was determined that year.
There, but it was a very small window. That was one of the windows that are in the houses in Markham that crank open that you can't really climb in. It was one of those windows. That was a Markham window. It wasn't a Felco window.
Damn. Yeah, that's a tight ass window. that window tight as hell right there. All right, so let me ask you this, Greg. Let me ask you this. So, all right, you made a good point earlier. You said, you know, with Mike gone, the 94 team, it kind of like it really wasn't too much pressure because people really weren't expecting them to do what they did. You know, what do you think fueled Pippen during that year? And, you know, especially after seeing, you know, The Last Dance, right? And like the whole issue with his contract and all of that. Like, what do you think fueled him in that 94 season for him to rise to the occasion and above some? Because, like, he almost got him there. Like, yeah, they lost in the semifinals. Yeah. But, you know, they took the Knicks to 7 games. You know, the highlight of that season was when he, you know, nuts all in Pat's face, you know, told Spike Lee to shut his ass up and sit down. What
greatest dunk of all time.
Right. I agree. Greatest in-game dunk of all time. What pushed Pippen to that point, in your opinion?
To me, it was all about he had that opportunity to be the guy, to be the man. And as you see now, that's one of his biggest issues still to this day, that opportunity to be the man. So when Mike left, he was sad. He was upset, kind of frustrated about it because we saw that on The Last Dance. But he was excited and he kind of took on the challenge to be the man, to kind of have his own team, everything run through him and everything like that. So that's what pushed him, just to be the man. And to almost try to win the championship without Mike would have probably been the biggest accomplishment for him this day. Man. He probably wouldn't even that ring, that one ring, probably would have meant more to him than any other ring he had.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you can tell now by the way he act. It's clear as day. It's clear as day. So yeah, it was just the fact that he was able to be the man. And, you know, he can kind of show that he can do this without Mike. That's what pushed him.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that season, like, elevated his status as one of the greatest players?
Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. Mm-hmm. We knew he was good before then, right? We knew Pip had it. We knew he was all around. It was nothing he couldn't really do. But we didn't know, like, well, can Pip kind of lead us? Can he take us to a certain point? You know, how far can he get us? But that year he kind of showed it.
Go ahead, Corey.
So my counter to that would be, it didn't do that. It just further reinforced that Pippen can't do it without Mike. Especially as it went down to crunch time and different things happened, and someone decided to just sit by the sideline and not check in and do these different things, and then you lose to the same teams that you were beating when Jordan was there. I tell people all the time, like, you become great during the regular season, but you become legendary in the postseason. And when you don't make it over that hump in the postseason, especially after Mike has left, and you're supposed to be, we can do this without Mike, it just reinforced it that without Michael Jordan, you can't make it over the hill.
That's deep. That's deep.
True.
That's deep. I mean, shit. I mean, catch 22. I guess both can be true. Both statements can be true. Because like that Knicks series, man. Like, look, I remember I had watched the whole series. Like, well, not. I remember watching it, when we was younger, but like I watched it again as an adult, like on YouTube, the whole series. I'm like, damn, like it was like 1,000,000 fouls in the series, Joe. You know what I'm saying? And
it was
it's
a different time back then.
Yeah, it was a different time, and I like it, but it was a bruiser, bro. Like it was a bruiser, and like that same Knicks team. So that same Knicks team, I think they had broke a record or something because they had played the most game sevens in the postseason up until that point. Because they went 7 with the Bulls. They went 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they went 7 in the finals against Hakeem.
I was actually going to bring that part up with the Bulls and with that 94 team. They took the Eastern Conference champs to 7 games.
7
without Jordan. So, and this is with a totally different team. You got to give Scotty his credit for that alone. You have a totally different roster. You don't have Jordan. Your replacement for Jordan is fucking JoJo English.
JoJo English.
JoJo English. You know what I'm saying? Getting slung in the bleachers by Derek Harper. I ain't forget. You know what I'm saying? But saying all that to say,
consider that the biggest smack in the face though is that prior to Mike departing, like the Knicks looked at the Bulls as like the big bullies. Oh my God. Almost like the way that the Bulls looked at Detroit.
The Pistons.
Mike and the Bulls were that to New York. And when he leaves, Scotty couldn't keep that up.
Because he wasn't built like that.
Black Jesus wasn't with him.
Yeah.
Scotty wasn't built like that. Scotty needed to be carried when he was young playing against the Pistons. When Dennis Rodman was whooping his tail. Scotty not built like that.
Man.
Not at all. And that's why I was reinforced that, hey, you're going to be a Robin forever.
Damn.
But it's nothing wrong with being a Robin.
He ain't lie.
It ain't nothing wrong with being a Robin. A Robin was one of my favorite characters. He was a cool dude. There ain't nothing wrong with being a Robin. I'd much rather be a Robin than a damn Joker.
Hey, the Joker killed Robin though.
Low-key.
Hey, but like,
if you want to be technical, so did the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So like the Knicks was like the Joker, and Patrick Ewing kind of looked like his ass with that long face. You know what I'm saying? And look, Scotty though, he was All-Star Game MVP. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he shined amongst the league's best that year. You feel me? He shined.
And he got a video game.
And he won the last game in Chicago Stadium. The last game in Chicago Stadium was a W because of him. That was the game when he poked on Ewing. You know what I'm saying? That was the last game in the old Chicago Stadium. That? A lot of people don't, but they know now.
Yo, I didn't remember that.
They know now, though. That. You know what I'm saying? But all right, so let's shift gears real quick. So we going from Robin in 94, who basically filled in for, Superman while Superman was gone playing Piggy, right? So now let's go into the future, because like the Bulls had some tough fucking years in the 2000s. We ain't gonna talk about it. All right, we just gonna skip over all that shit. We're gonna skip over all that. So then, Ayo was just drafted by the Bulls this past summer, Morgan Park alum. But before that, we had the Simeon alum taken first in 08. It's kind of like Jesus loves us. Jesus, like he got game. You know what I'm saying? Like Derrick Rose wins Rookie of the Year. It's like they got better and better. To Sam's point earlier, it's like that team was already kind of gelled together in a sense. And then, like Greg said, Derrick Rose said the famous line, "Why not me be MVP?" Corey, what pushed Derrick Rose that year? Because it's like I can't even say he was in his prime because he never reached his prime. You feel me? But that year though, we ain't seen nothing like that in NBA up until that point. And even now, we don't see it as much. Like, yeah, it's a lot of athletic guards now. Don't get me wrong. You got John Morant, Russ still doing his thing. But it's like Derrick Rose laid the groundwork for all of that. What do you think pushed him in that 2011 season to go berserk like that?
I would say 2 things. And the second one is funny, but I also feel it's very true. the number one thing that I believe pushed Derrick Rose is Derrick Rose was from the city of Chicago. He got drafted number one, like he said. He literally had the entire city of Chicago on his back. And in Derrick Rose's head, if it's gonna be on my back, I'm gonna show you guys that I can carry this weight. And that's exactly what he went out there and did. He put the city on his back, loaded up, and went out there and took care of business. The second thing that helped push him was Reggie Rose. If any of y'all went to Bulls games during that time, Reggie was always front and center underneath the basket, courtside, or somewhere else, talking more mess and more trash and talking more for Derrick Rose than Derrick Rose was talking for himself. Derrick Rose said, I got to put on for my city, and he showed up and he showed out. And that's exactly why I feel like they gave him that MVP, because I agree with Sam. They definitely was stolen from LeBron, but they gave it to Derrick Rose.
Think they stole it from Ron? No. Go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
This okay.
Greg
this
has
is
the
what
floor.
happened.
Greg has the
This
floor.
is what happened. So I'm gonna kind of play into what y'all saying now. Okay, Derrick Rose didn't. No, they didn't steal that MVP from LeBron. What happened is LeBron. I think he won 2 MVPs. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. Up until that point. So he went to Miami. So everybody was mad at him. The media, everybody, they hated how he did the whole presentation or whatever, right? Because, basically the MVP votes, it's media driven. You have some fans involved, but it's really media votes. LeBron kind of basically lost that MVP for himself once he went to Miami. He wasn't going to get that MVP that year, okay? But Derrick Rose and the Bulls made it such an easier decision for Derrick to get that MVP that year. They came on the scene. They had the best record in the league, 62-20. He was playing out of his ass, all NBA. He took over. He showed that he can run make his whole team better and get them up to this point, almost to get into the finals, but they didn't get there. But he pushed them to a whole nother level. You put LeBron on the Heat, he got Chris Bosh, he got Dwayne Wade. He basically got a whole team created for him. Derrick Rose, you got Derrick Rose, Luol Deng, Carlos Boozer when he came back from injury, Joakim Noah, that all he could do is rebound.
Man,
play defense.
That's all that boy can do.
And that's okay. I love him to death.
Me too.
Him to death. But that whole team was Derrick Rose. He played 81 games that year, 62-20.
No load management.
62-20. All the commercials, everything. That was him. I don't like when people say they stole the MVP from LeBron. Nah, Derrick Rose took the MVP. Oh, he took it. If LeBron wanted the MVP, he should have averaged 35, 10, and 12.
Yeah, because they would have had to give it to him if he did. If he had those numbers, they would have had to give it to him.
Yeah, but
Derrick Rose took it. He took it.
I think every point that Greg just said about LeBron being the villain is the very reason why he couldn't get that MVP.
Yeah.
With that villain casted on him, it's no way. The league and every single writer in the league who ultimately votes is like, this guy left his team high and dry. We got to give it to somebody else.
That's just how the media works. But I'm going to tell y'all now, both of y'all made great points, but y'all sound like some homers. I'm a really y'all sound like homers, and I'm okay with that. Listen, I'm good with that because I feel y'all, as far as what Corey said about, DRose putting the city on his back and having his brother, as his number one supporter. And, what my man, Greg just said in regards to the whole, his point. But one thing we got to remember is that was the year he played. That was the first time he played with Team USA. So now you're around your peers. You playing with top tier guys and you're watching them. So now you got this confidence coming back into the next season because you done played against James Harden for 2-3 weeks out of the summer every day. You done play with Russell Westbrook. You done play with all the top guys. So now you learning your game is getting better. And it's like they say, iron sharpens iron. Derrick Rose was no scrub prior to that. And all that shit did was make him way better. Because now you think about with Jordan when he was saying in the Last Dance about him playing with Team USA. He got a chance to watch all these guys and see how they work and see their work ethic. These are the guys he's playing against 82 games out the year. Derrick Rose had that same opportunity. He went from being an all-star reserve to being an all-star starter, all in that 1 year's time. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Then he goes and wins the MVP.
What you said.
You say what?
I agree with everything you just said.
Appreciate it. I mean, and that's but no, seriously though, like that's like, look at what, okay, and if you want to go present day, let's look at Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine getting ready to get paid by somebody.
The Bulls.
You can call him overrated all you want.
He ain't never overrated.
You can call him overrated, but you gonna call him paid.
Hey, Sam, let me ask you this one question. This is what I'm going to tell you that's going to ultimately determine what Zach gets paid and how I look at him. It's one thing to be the guy on a trash team. It's another thing to be that dude on a team that actually wins.
I agree. I'm with you.
This year. Let's see what he does.
They gonna do something this year. They gonna do something this year. They have no.
But he got to take a back seat. He can't get all those shots that he's been getting.
He's still gonna be the leading scorer, probably.
I don't think he has to.
Question for you, Corey. What does he? Here's a question for you, because I have an argument with one of my guys about Zach LaVine every day for like a year now.
Okay.
Every day.
So tell me, what will make you feel better about him? What does he have to do this year for you to be like, okay?
He has to do that within the offense and not be the offense, because every year that we've seen these monster numbers, he was the offense.
He had no choice but to be, though.
Comes down, the only thing that's on his mind is, how am I going to score this basketball? And no one else is going to stop me from doing it. Now, when you have other guys around you and that ball has to move, let's see what you do within an offense. And that's why I said you can be a big dog on a team with nobody else there. But let's see if you can be that same big dog now that you got other dogs in the yard with you.
You talking efficiency.
Two dogs, not just efficiency, but just the elaborate numbers as well. I don't think his numbers are going to look like that.
They're not. They shouldn't though.
Let's look at from this standpoint. Before Zach got caught and before he caught COVID, the Bulls were actually in 5th place in the East.
They were.
And then he got sick.
Yep.
So if he's not robbed of his health and he plays most of those games down the stretch, they're making the playoffs. They're not even going to the play-in. They're in the playoffs. We're not having this conversation.
All right, so look, check this out.
My only thing against that. Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead, Twiz. My fault.
No. What was you going to say?
I was going to say, we say that about the Bulls being in 5th place, but we also have to take into consideration that the rest of the teams in the East didn't turn up until late either. And when those other teams started turning up, it was going to be different.
Yeah, but Zach was out there hooping though, bro.
So look, here's the thing. I think Zach is one of the best scorers we had in the Bulls organization. If you look at Zach's story though, so look, like you said, Zach was the offense, right? Because he had no choice but to be the offense. If you look at that story, it's the same damn story in Bulls history. Mike was the offense. Derrick Rose was the offense. Look, Derrick Rose, when he won MVP that year, he only averaged 25, bro. And he was the offense. Mm-hmm. How you averaging 25, which, it ain't nothing I've seen. It ain't no James Harden numbers, no Russ numbers, no Bron numbers. How you only averaging 25? You the offense for a team, and y'all got the top record in the whole league?
Because they play defense, bro.
Bam.
That's amazing.
And Derrick Rose got his buckets within the game. Every time we see Zach LaVine going off on one of those amazing nights, I'm not going to put it past him and say he's not amazing, but every time we see it, we saw 4 guys in the same jersey like his standing around watching him.
Yeah, but that's the game now. You didn't see as a whole, I think, though. You feel me? Like, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I just feel like that's not even a Zach or a Bulls problem. I think that's a basketball problem now. You know, you look
It's
at
a
any
basketball
level,
problem
you
for
just
bad
looking at
teams.
guys. You look at guys just standing around. But like the things Derrick
And
Rose
those are
did,
bad teams.
the things that Derrick Rose did that year was amazing. I didn't like think about it. Like a lot of his points was in the paint too.
Hell yeah.
Like,
Dunking on everybody.
Dunking on everybody. It wasn't like he was pulling up, you know, Steph Curry, Trae Young. You know, a lot of his stuff was drives to the basket, cutting, because that was his game. That was his game.
Within the offense. That was all within that offense.
And that's good.
Had. Right. And we don't see that from who?
I mean, yeah, but we ain't even talk about him no more.
But listen, though, I mean, when you look at the Bulls and you look at that 2011 team with the Bulls, they're going to beat you because all they have to do is score 90 points because they're going to hold you to like 80, 85.
Right.
So those 25 points that's coming from Derrick Rose, and on a real good night, he going to go for 40. You going up against a team like the Magic who got Dwight Howard at that time, and you taking him away, you know, you taking a lot of the offense away from that team who's not already an offensive juggernaut. Mm-hmm. So all you have to do is go out and score 90 points a game.
Is that what made that playoff series between the Heat and the Bulls so great? I believe they were both, two top 5 teams?
Yeah, I think Bulls was number 1. Heat was like number 3 or something, I believe. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, and that's exactly, and that's my point.
And all those games was decided by single digits. I think
except for the first one when we blew them out. The first one we blew them out, yeah. And then, but see, it showed though. In that series, it showed why. Again, the same story, right? So LaVine didn't even make the playoffs or whatever, right? Mike was getting blasted in his early years. It showed why one person can't do it all. Because when they was keying on Rose, and you knew Rose was the offense, who do you turn to?
Keith Bogans.
Keith fucking Bogans. Keith Bogans, bro. Like,
hey, look, we're going to get Brian Scalabrine, dog.
Scowl.
Gee, and then like I think Korver was like off that series.
All that money we paid Carlos.
Korver was off.
And he was on fire the whole year. Like I think that Atlanta series, he was lighting their ass up. We go play Miami. This dude couldn't hit a rock in Lake Michigan, bro. Like, oh my God. I was so mad.
It was pretty bad.
It was bad. It was bad.
That's what a good defense does, though, right?
It is.
And better players.
It is because, you know, Miami had 3 of the top 5 in the league against the MVP, and that's all you got is the MVP. And the MVP wasn't even a shooter. He was a slasher.
Nope. And this goes back to what I said earlier about why you can be great during a regular season, but you become legendary in the postseason because now as a team and as a coach and everybody else, I'm cluing in on the same team for a guaranteed 4 games in a row. I don't have to think about anybody else. Every scheme that I come up with, every play that we draw up, every defense is all keyed in on whatever that team does best. In most cases, as a coach, I tell you, the best player on the team, he going to get his, but we're going to try to shut down everybody else around him.
You can't stop him. You can only contain.
And they contain Rose. They figured out how to contain Rose. Just put Bron big ass on him. You know what I'm saying?
and force everybody else to beat you.
And just put Bron big ass on. And you know, and it's like so. And it's kind of like goes back to like when we said who would win between 94 and 2011. You would think that's exactly what 94 would do. They would just put Pippen big ass on him.
Yeah, but the Bulls weren't at the outside of Pippen. Who's scoring? Where your scoring coming from? It's not coming from Horace Grant. It's definitely not coming from BJ Armstrong. And if you gonna go and you gonna get a ball to, you know, Will Perdue or Bill Cartwright in the post.
Oh my God, G. Will
you know
Perdue.
what I'm saying? You better hope that look, you gotta bring Tony in.
Super physical. Who's going to out physical that 94 team on a 2011 team?
Boozer was physical though.
Boozer, Joakim Noah.
Boozer was physical.
You got Ronnie Brewer.
Overpaid for Boozer.
But he was physical.
Oh, he just
like we would look. I would say this: when we went from Boozer to Gasol, we actually got softer.
Yeah,
we got softer in the paint when we went from Boozer to Gasol. I believe that. We got softer.
When you really look at how Boozer was playing, when the Bulls looked good winning, Boozer was playing down in the paint. It wasn't until he thought he had a mid-range and that bogus-ass Beijing that he thought he was killing me with
that. He was killing me with that, man. That rainbow-ass shot.
Hey, y'all remember we had the Beijing on his head though?
Yes.
We'll never forget.
Shoe polish.
Yes. Yes, we definitely remember that. And you know, the crazy thing is, so like I said, both teams, 94 and 2011, lost to, you know, a team that eventually won the Eastern Conference Finals, and they went to the finals and lost to a team from Texas. So Houston in 94, Dallas in 2011. But if you look at both of those teams, their best player was a big. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you really consider Dirk Nowitzki a big?
He's definitely a big.
Oh yeah.
Definitely a big.
Don't put no shame on that man's name.
Absolutely. I'm not. I'm just thinking because if you consider him a big, then you got to consider Kevin Durant a big, and they play the same way. As a matter of fact, Kevin Durant is just a more advanced, polished version of Dirk. But I wouldn't consider him a big man.
Dirk always played inside out.
Yeah, but they had a big man. Their big man was Tyson Chandler. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying, can you really say that Dirk was a big man? Because in that case, Chris Bosh isn't technically a big man. These are perimeter guys who are just so happen to be 7 feet.
Chris Bosh was a big in Toronto.
In Toronto, he was
when he went to Miami. So he played that way because of LeBron James needing that lane to the basket.
Yeah, LeBron just dictated everything. It's like, get the hell out the way.
He really does.
Like, get out the way. Like, the only person who still played that game was Wade. You know, Wade, you know, his game didn't change. You feel me?
Nope.
But yeah, you know, the Heatles, they were some villains, man. They were some villains. But, you know, I stand by this. You know, everything is hypothetical. This whole episode is hypothetical, right? 94 Pippen, 2011 Rose. I truly believe 2012, we would have beat them. I truly believe that. I truly believe that.
We were going to win.
I
believe
believe
win that year.
Like, it was in the bag. Rose still was being Rose. You feel me? You got a shortened season, all that, but he was still doing Rose-like things. And then Judgment Day came.
And what a time to be alive, though.
That 2012 season, the 2011 season was the window for the Bulls, just like you guys spoke about earlier.
That market
because
window.
when 2012 rolled around, that Heat team was locked in. Y'all don't remember what the Heat team did in 2011 when they lost like their first 15 something games out of 22 or something crazy like that.
Then they rolled off like they rolled off a long winning streak, didn't they?
Yeah, they was going crazy.
Absolutely.
They was going crazy. They was going crazy. Like, just winning. Like, niggas wasn't even sniffing a loss. Like, just winning, bro. But I still feel like the Bulls was there, though, bro. Like, I feel like the window was still cracked in 2012. And then it shut closed.
Win that year.
It was shut closed when Rose went down. And, you know, I cried. Well, I ain't really cried, but I cried on this side.
They scooped up Rip Hamilton that year, too.
Mass Rip.
Hey, do you guys know what is another good point? When we talk about these Bulls teams, when we look at each team where we were super competitive, we always had an amazing coach behind that bench. Mm-hmm. And once again, enough credit does not go to coaches because Tibbs was the man. Now, will he work you like a Hebrew slave? Yeah, that's true.
In the book of Exodus.
Players. Yeah, but at the same time, he makes sure he gets every single ounce of talent and hard work out of every player on his team.
Yeah, he never had a losing season with the Bulls.
Never had a losing season.
And if it wasn't for our janky front office, I see the Bulls organization being exactly what San Antonio is, perennial winners.
That's real talk. That's real talk. Because the Bulls have, look, man, you take Mike, because, you know, Mike ain't in an equation for these seasons. You take Mike out the equation for the Bulls organization, we trash, boy. We trash.
Oh,
we're the Clippers.
We ain't shit. We are trash. We really got blessed with Mike, bro, because we trash. Like, the Bulls organization has had more bad than good. Far more bad. Like I said earlier, those 2006, man, look, it was bad.
Yeah. We shouldn't have had Mike. Portland should have picked Mike.
They should have picked Mike.
Nah, they wasn't gonna pick Mike because they wasn't gonna pick him and have him play with Clyde Drexler. That wasn't happening. They picked who they needed.
Get Clyde the fuck out of here.
You say what?
Get Clyde the fuck out of here. He said Portland got a history of bad picks, though.
But Clyde wasn't a bad pick. He was like everybody else. Let's see. Portland made the finals twice.
Not Clyde. When we look at Portland, I'm talking about
he talking
about Bowie and even
right.
the Greg Oden pick. Remember, they could have had KD.
But did we really think that Greg Oden was going to be a bust like that? He got and really and truly, he wasn't bad. He just his body just failed him.
What college he went to?
He went to Ohio State, of course.
Here's my answer for you. Even when he was in high school and a 7-footer, that man only averaged 14 points a game. And you mean to tell me that we thought he was going to do something at the NBA level?
But let's also
Ohio State.
But let's also think about this too. There's two
lost to Joakim Noah at Florida.
Yeah, but they were juniors. They were super juniors. But let's go back to this high school thing with Greg Oden. Greg Oden's teammate in high school was Mike Conley, who was right there next to him in Ohio State and was a top 5 pick. And a lot of those games were blowouts. So why would you play him in the fourth quarter? Let's
question. If you're a 7-footer and you have a number 1 or number 2 guard in the country, I think it would be very easy for you to get more than 7 baskets a game.
I agree.
First quarter.
I agree. But let's we don't know what the offense was like. Like, I'm not saying that, Greg Oden was supposed to be the truth, because all along I was a Kevin Durant fan from jump. Been one since I seen him in high school.
Man, nasty.
But Greg Oden was not something to sneeze at. I watched the kid play in the AAU tournament back when we were juniors in high school.
Question. I firmly believe that, yes, he was not anything to sneeze at, but in my eyes, he was not a top 5 pick that year.
Well, none of these guys are really top 5 picks when you think about it, because a lot of these guys are drafted off of upside. Every time you watch the NBA draft, what do they say? Upside, upside, upside.
Derrick had a lot of upside.
Derrick Rose went number 1, and we saw how that panned out. But who went number 2 behind him? Mike Beasley. What Mike Beasley at? Mike Beasley trying to get picked up in summer league.
And people really tried to say Mike Beasley should have went number 1. I can't believe that shit, man. Like, hell no. Look,
and
Derrick
Rose was on this call right now.
Rose was the man from the beginning, from his junior year. You know what I'm saying? He was the man. Rose beat John Shire. You feel me? And we know who John Shire is. We know what he did. Finna be the next coach at Duke, probably.
Punk at Duke.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Rose was going crazy.
Wait, hold on. Excuse me, Twiz. I thought I heard some Duke disrespect on this call.
Yeah, you heard.
Actually, I kind of, you know what? You don't hear Duke disrespect anymore, because you know what? They recruit Chicago.
They do. Sean Dockery, you know.
Let's go further than that. Phil Anderson, he's from Crete.
True.
His class of 84 or something.
True. I mean, North Carolina, everybody recruits Chicago except Illinois. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because we don't have anything.
Let's just be real, man. Everybody, Shannon Brown going to Michigan State. You got Bobby Frazier going to North Carolina. It's wild, man.
But okay, if you want to talk, I think that needs to be a different episode. That needs to be a different episode.
I got a question though. So look, we just said, how the Bulls organization was trash, right? So we could say arguably 94 Pippen, 2011 Rose was like 2 of the greatest seasons in Bulls history outside of Micheal Jordan, right? Now, give me your all-time starting 5 for the Bulls. And this includes the new guys we got coming in that even played in the Bulls jersey yet. So Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, all of them, right? Give me your all-time starting 5 Bulls right now. You can start, Greg.
Rose at the point.
Facts.
Jordan, Pippen. I'm going to go ahead and throw Noah at the 5. Then at the 4, man, I kind of want to say, I kind of want to go with Horace Grant.
Really?
He said really?
I mean, unless you want to go with Bob Love. But
Mr. Bob Love, very nice guy.
Gotta go Dennis Rodman. You just
I forgot about Dennis. But would you say, even if you said Elton Brand before Horace Grant, I can go with that. I guess I was thinking about tenure when I was thinking about the 4, but I guess if you want to go that route, I probably would go Elton Brand if I'm making the starting 5.
Okay. Who your sixth man?
Sixth man could be Dennis. Dennis would come off the bench with the energy.
Lonzo
and I have
seven.
Ben Gordon.
I mean, not Lonzo, but Zach.
Zach
Ben
too.
Gordon.
Yeah.
Ben Gordon. Okay. All right. Yeah, we get into
have
benches.
A nice little team.
Yeah, nice little. Yeah. You know, we decent. We ain't fucking with the Lakers, but we decent though.
And look, before you go past me, when it's all said and done, Zach gonna have a lot of those scoring records on the Bulls. Just gonna put that out there
because Micheal Jordan's scoring records, points per game, has still never been beaten. If Mike played many more games instead of retiring, his numbers would be off the charts.
Well, we'll never know.
This is true. You know what's crazy though? When you really think about these Bulls teams back in the 90s, nobody ever talks about Luke Longley and his impact.
Yeah, he was a nice, solid big man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just really don't think Luke gets his credit because he was so quiet. You know what I'm saying? But he made it. You know, he was the engine of that. You know, of the front court.
So is he in your starting five?
No, he's not in my starting five. I liked him.
Who your starting five?
Nobody cares about the plumber until your pipes break. That's the problem.
But you know what? It's always good to have one. Look, but it's always good to have one available.
Oh my God!
I agree. And Luke Longley is that plumber, and we don't care about him until the pipes break.
And them, listen,
boy, you a fool.
Hey, Mike talked about how some of them pipes bust when in that little interview when he talked about how he finished with the same stat line in the first quarter at the end of the game and they ended up losing.
He had a whole documentary on YouTube.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Well, I ain't see it, but I heard about it, you know, but I haven't seen it. Sam, who in your starting five?
Derrick Rose at the point, Jordan at the 2, Pip at the 3. I'm going Rodman at the 4, and I'm gonna probably go with Joakim Noah at the 5. And then if I had to pick a 6 man, I'm probably going with that part. I might have to go with I need to go with Luol Deng.
Okay.
You took mine.
Yeah, I mean, you have man.
I like that.
We know who your 6 man gonna be, Corey, but it's cool. We still got to see who your 5 gonna be.
So I got the same exact starting 5 as Sam, except at center, I'm going with Tyson Chandler.
I can't go with Tyson Chandler, and I like him. It was
that
just
nigga
that
played for like 50 teams.
He wasn't to Tyson Chandler that if he was an Olympic Tyson Chandler, hell yeah, his numbers would be in the Raptors. But
so check this out. This is what I see in Tyson Chandler is that every team he went to, he rebounded and protected the rim. Great. When I'm building my starting 5, I don't need him to do anything else but that. And we all know that Tyson Chandler gonna play the pick and roll 10 times better than Noah.
Chris Paul showed.
Okay, well then can I change my bench player then?
Who's your
I'm gonna go with Jamal Crawford then. I'm gonna go pick Jamal Crawford.
All right, Jamal crossover. Okay.
What?
Okay. All right, let me give y'all my 5 real quick. So I got
Hold on. Let me change my bench player too then.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Forget Luol. Give me Ron Artest.
Gee, the Bulls had a lot of motherfuckers that was like
ass
when they played for them, but then they became superstars later on. You know what I'm saying? Too many. Ain't nobody say Marcus Fizer though.
That motherfucker's still drunk somewhere. That's why.
The only thing great about Marcus Fizer is his back. That guy had the biggest back I've ever seen in my life.
Get that silver back.
Remember we talked about upside. Yeah, he was definitely an upside guy, and his college coach was Tim Floyd. Makes all sense right there. Who was the worst coach in NBA history?
Fucking terrible. Ass.
Wow.
So you got to give me Derrick Rose, Jordan, Pip, Rodman, and honestly, I'll probably go Noah at the 5. My 6 man though, and none of y'all said it. I got to go with Captain Kirk. You got to give me Captain Kirk.
You on your own with that one, Chandler.
You got to give me Captain Kirk. Nope. Captain Kirk there. But look though, my bench is deep though. I got Zach. You feel me? I
gotta hope that
I got Ben Gordon
to play Kirk.
I got Horace. You feel me? My bench is deep. But nah, you know, real talk though. I think Kirk Hinrich don't get the love he deserved though. He was solid for a lot of years. You feel me?
I agree.
He was solid
He's
for
the
a lot
second
of
best
years.
point guard of all time in Bulls history. Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Captain Kirk.
He's
the second best point guard. Who better?
BJ
Don't you say
Armstrong.
BJ. Oh, don't you say BJ.
He
was
said,
not
"Don't
better.
you say BJ."
BJ is
I'll
not
take.
better
Look,
than,
I'll take
Right.
John Paxson.
Rusty LaRue.
No, you will not.
Rusty LaRue.
I'll take. This man said Rusty LaRue.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you
stop.
Calvin Booth. How about that?
Oh my god.
Yeah, okay. we just throwing shit out there now. Okay. Corey Blunt
No, what about hold on?
Corey Blunt.
What about Randy Brown? We gotta put.
Oh
Randy
my
Brown
man.
in.
Oh my god, nah.
Hey, he didn't care if he sat next to Jesus himself.
Gee, Randy Brown.
Ron Mercer.
Look at every
No, Ron
championship.
Marcus is disqualified because
Look at
Jordan
every
blasted his
championship.
shit and palmed it off the backboard.
Randy Brown
Two
always
hands.
trying to steal the ball from Mike. You ain't did shit, man. Leave that ball alone.
That's the nigga that got an A on the he got an A on the team project and didn't do no work.
The boy was ass.
Hey, I got Randy Brown's autograph at a car dealership one year.
Damn.
That didn't cost a lot.
Yeah,
That
you
boy
probably
lived-
can't
he
even
lived
play a
right
lottery
in
ticket with
It
that
didn't cost
motherfucker.
anything.
He was right around the way, man. I used to hoop at his crib. He used to stay right there in
Yeah.
Madison. Him and Jamal Crawford, right over there by over there where R. Kelly used to live at.
Randy Brown ass.
Oh man, you was around all the people you didn't need to be around. That's a troublesome lineup right there back in the day.
Yeah.
Greg didn't know if he was coming or going.
Damn.
If we look at every guy that's the man in the league today, at a point in time, Derrick Rose was better than every single one of them, and it was no question.
That's a fact.
From Westbrook, James Harden, KD, or anyone else you want to name, Derrick Rose was the hands down favorite, not even a question, better than every one of those guys.
Derrick
And I could-
Rose.
And I'm gonna take it a step further, Corey. I'm gonna take it a step further. A lot of the guys as top dogs in the league now were in his draft class, and that draft class is probably top 3 of all time, next to 84 and 96. That 08 draft,
And
that's
03.
the one that had
Whoa.
Westbrook, Kevin Love, OJ Mayo, and if they came out with that class, that's Blake Griffin, that's James Harden. So his high school
84.
graduating class is dope.
Yeah.
And he's the best.
84,
He was the best.
96, 03, and
Yeah,
then
03.
Derrick Rose draft.
Yeah.
And all the players, the top players now, still pay homage to him.
Still,
That's
you don't have
the
Russell
thing.
Westbrook without
No.
Derrick Rose, bro. Like you
And
don't
remember,
have
they used to
that.
train together. They used to
Yeah.
train together.
Yeah.
Him and Kevin
Like you
Love
said,
all the
Greg,
time.
They know the truth,
They
and that's why I
they
tell
still
people all
know.
the time.
And look,
It's
you know how
one
Bron.
thing-
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's one thing for you to get kudos from fans or journalists, but it's another thing when the players talk about you
Facts.
because they step foot in that battle arena and they know who the real warriors are.
And you know how Bron loves that chase down block. Rose was doing that a lot.
Whoa.
Rose was chasing people down on fast breaks and swatting they shit.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
can we
not
talk
gonna
about
make
the
that
greatest play
comparison.
in D-Rose's career? When he
was
dunked on Goran
What's
Dragic, bro, when he went up with 2 hands.
Whoa, the two hand.
I was at
If we want
go ahead.
greatest play in his career, if we just talking about basketball ever, was when he was at the United Center in a Simeon jersey and he went back to back now.
Against
Oh, yeah.
Washington?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Had the whole.
I was at that game.
You was
It was
there.
against Washington.
I was there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Back to back nasty dunk.
Then he started stretching after that second
Woo.
one when he got fouled. Yeah. He kind of reminded me of myself when I was doing that. You know.
Okay, yeah. So I guess this is where our
Okay,
journey
the
ends,
podcast
guys.
is
Yeah. It's been good.
If you enjoyed this podcast, I ask for 2 things. Number 1, leave a 5-star review. And number 2, pass it on to a friend who may enjoy it as well. And don't forget to subscribe to our other podcast, Mogul Motivation from True Stories Media.